At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Minnesota Twins. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Optimum, presenting Mets games in crystal clear HD. By Mazda, driving matters. By Geico, the #1 insurer in the New York market. By Bob's Discount Furniture. Shop in-store or online at mybobs.com. And by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer or buyatoyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. That smiling face says it all. It was an enormous night for Curtis Granderson. Extra, extra indeed. Granderson homering in the 11th. Granderson homering in the 12th. First Met ever to do that. 2 home runs in extra innings, and it got the Mets a victory that elevated them right to the top of the wild card standings. And a pleasant good afternoon and welcome to Citi Field. I'm Gary Cohen. Keith Hernandez joins me in just a moment as the Mets try and sweep a 3-game series from the Minnesota Twins. The Mets, with their win last night, moved even with the Giants for the first wild card spot. It started here on Friday night. Jose Reyes and Asdrubal Cabrera with back-to-back home runs for the Mets in the 3rd inning to give the Mets the early lead. And Bartolo Colon made it stand up from there. Colon was magnificent again. 7 scoreless innings. Colon struck out 6. He just continues to impress in this decimated Mets rotation. The 43-year-old holding his own for a 3-0 win. Then last night, the only mistake Seth Lugo made, a home run to Eddie Rosario in the 4th inning, gave the Twins a 1-0 lead, and it stayed that way all the way into the bottom of the 8th when Cespedes came through, reaching outside the strike zone to line a base hit into right center to bring in the tying run. But then in the 11th, Byron Buxton hit a tape measure home run to put the Twins back in front against Hansel Robles. Curtis Granderson led off in the bottom of the 11th, looking for the equalizer, and he went a place he rarely goes. Left field for a home run, and that got the Mets even. 27th of the year for Granderson, but Curtis was not done. 2 out and nobody on in the bottom of the 12th. Game still tied, and Granderson hooks one down the line into the 2nd row, his 2nd of the night, and the Mets have themselves a 3-2 12-inning victory. As exciting a win as the Mets have had all year, and as we showed in the newspaper, the late edition, with the Giants having blown a lead in the 9th inning last night, the Mets are now even for the top of the wild card standings, and they have the tiebreaker over the Giants.
And that was, they remember that 4-game series way back in San Francisco. That was the nadir of the season for this ball club. I thought they might have been finished. They lost the first 2 games in San Francisco, then came back and won the final 2 to take the series. So they have the tiebreaker if there is one. This team has been fun to watch, Gary. It's been someone new every day. The hitting hasn't. They haven't been scoring a lot of runs, but enough to win. The pitching has been there. The defense has been there. Everything is clicking with this ball club.
And with Jacob deGrom unavailable for the rest of the year and Rafael Montero having stumbled in his opportunities, Gabriel Inoa is the latest young Mets starter to get a chance.
Well, this will be his first start. He's had a tough run here, 6 relief appearances. His numbers aren't good, but he's a guy that throws strikes, and it's plan B here. He's running out there to try to get the sweep here this afternoon.
Inoa was successful as a starting pitcher in Las Vegas this year. The Mets are hoping to get some of that from him here today. It's the Mets and Twins as the Mets go for the sweep. All the action on SNY. Hyundai Elantra. It's not just new, it's better. Be here at Citi Field Saturday, September 24th for Fan Appreciation Weekend. The Mets take on the Phillies at 7:10. The first 15,000 fans in attendance will receive a Mets fleece blanket, courtesy of the Northwest Company. For tickets, visit Mets.com/tickets. Greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. Last night in San Francisco, Giants had a 2-1 lead in the top of the ninth. Randall Grichuk an RBI single. Colton Wong a sacrifice fly against Santiago Casilla. And the Cardinals rallied to beat the Giants. Another failure for the Giants bullpen, as St. Louis may have saved their season last night. They stayed 2 games behind the Mets and the Giants for the 2 top spots in the wild card. What can Gabriel Inoa do, the 11th Mets starting pitcher of the year? We'll find out in a moment. His first pitch is coming right up. Hi. What's your name? My name's Matt.
I'm your third hitter.
Here's a baseball. Hi, my name's Kelly. What's yours? Have a ball. That's great stuff. That is one of the best things that happens in the ballpark. Kids getting to take the field with their heroes.
What a thrill.
Well, Gabriel Inoa's got to have a few butterflies. His first big league start. Hasn't started a game since late August for Las Vegas. He was very successful there, hoping to translate that to the big leagues. Both teams are playing offbeat starting lineups today. No Joe Mauer today for the Twins. No Max Kepler. So they plug Kenny Vargas into the cleanup spot. Robbie Grossman and James Beresford and John Ryan Murphy all get their first starts of the series.
And there's today's starter for the Mets. Your Land Rover numbers for Gabriel Inoa, who pitched this year in Las Vegas. Born in La Vega, Dominican Republic, the 23-year-old had 12 wins for Las Vegas in 154 in the third innings. He's had 6 relief appearances. It's been a little rough time for him, but this is his first start, and it's a big game.
Keith, the defense is coming.
And the defense is also always Alexis. Mr. Conforto's first start since Labor Day back in September 5th.
Keith, look who's playing first base today.
And Lucas, little Luke is back. Where you been?
First action since May the 20th.
How about that?
Coming back from a fracture in his back.
And d'Arnaud back in the line. It's been kind of flip-flop with the catching.
Well, it's nice to see Lucas back on the field. Didn't know that we were going to see him this quickly, but as Terry Collins said, it's a good spot to get him in, see what he can do after 4 months on the sidelines. Brian Dozier will lead off for the Twins. Gabriel Inoa's first pitch of the afternoon is hit on the ground slowly. Kelly Johnson to his left. Throws out Dozier. 1 pitch and 1 out for Inoa.
Well, Inoa is not a strikeout pitcher. He's a sinker slider pitcher. When he's going good, he's throwing up ground balls.
By the way, the Mets have done a terrific job against Dozier in this series. Second leading home run hitter in the American League, has gone 2 for 10 with 2 infield hits. Now Logan Schaefer, whom the Mets saw back in spring training in a Washington Nationals uniform. The Nats let him go. He went to an independent team and then signed with the Twins on the 1st of June. And Schaefer takes a fastball for a strike.
8 for 33. In a Twinkie uniform.
5 years with the Brewers in a part-time role. Hit .212 in these 5 seasons there. And Schaefer takes outside 1-1. Inoa last pitched Monday night in Washington. 2 innings in relief, gave up 2 runs, 3 hits. It has not gone well for him in relief, but you look at his numbers in Vegas and they're pretty startling when you consider how poorly some of the Met pitchers have fared in AAA this year. That's popped up along the left field line. Cespedes toward the sidewall and reaches out and makes a nice catch. Boy, he is really adept at negotiating that short fence over toward the foul line, and he makes another fine play.
Well, he's the only real regular that's in here from the normal regulars in the lineup. Cespedes with the bad quad.
Glad that young lady got her hand out of the way, by the way.
And that young kid right there could have got clobbered. Saved by Cespedes.
Well, remember, Cespedes went into the stands in just about that exact spot earlier this year, and he bruised his hip, which plagued him through much of the early season. Here's Jorge Polanco with 2 out.
Well, a good day to give your regulars some rest. You've won the first two games of this series. Both teams went the 4 hours and 15 minutes last night. Good breaking ball by Inoa. It's a good day to give Reyes an off day. Cabrera with the knee, Gary. Granderson after the big day. Bruce, who's been struggling, and Loney. So,
well, as Terry Collins said, it might be the last off day for all those guys. And the slider misses to Polanco, 2-1.
The Mets have one more off day on the schedule, and that will be after that 3-game series in Miami when they go on their last road trip. They'll get the in-between Philly and Miami off, which will be good for them for the last final weekend against the Phils.
3-1 to Polanco with Kenny Vargas hitting cleanup waiting on deck. Polanco's have looked awfully good with the bat in this series. 3 for 8 in the first 2 games. There's big Kenny Vargas hitting cleanup. 3-1 coming. And a fastball in for a strike. 3-2. We're talking about Inoa and his numbers in AAA. He was 12-5 with a 3.97 pitching for Vegas.
Right.
And you know, we've seen the numbers for Lugo and Gazelman. They were not pretty at all. Inoa outpitched those guys in AAA. 3-2 coming, and it's grounded foul.
Not a strikeout, Gary. 78 strikeouts over those 154 in the 3rd innings. Only 40 walks, a little over, what, 3, close to 3 a game.
And it's notable that his last 2 starts for Vegas in late August, he threw 8 scoreless innings in each one. One of those was in Vegas, the other in Tacoma. 3-2 coming, and Polanco skims one foul.
And another wonderful opportunity, and I mentioned this in the first game of the series. Always love to play on the East Coast when your competition's on the West Coast, and run a W up on that board, and they're taking batting practice, and they see another Met win. Hard charging Mets.
8th pitch of the at bat, and Polanco takes on the inside corner, strike 3 called. Changeup got him looking, and Polanco is called out. Inoa with his first strikeout, helped out by Cespedes going to the sidewall, denying the fans a souvenir and making a nice play. Today turned it down, but all the other veteran regulars are sitting today, so it's kind of a spring training-esque lineup for Terry Collins, which is an interesting thing to do in a pennant race. But he figured he's got house money with the first 2 games of the series under his belt, and he's going to go with this lineup today against Kyle Gibson.
Gibson, of course, last 2 seasons has won 24 games for the Twins, and not a very good Twins team. 13-12 and 11-11 the last 2 seasons, but this year hasn't gone swimmingly for him. The ERA over 5.
Alejandro De Aza leads off, the 11th time he's led off this year, and Gibson misses low and in for ball 1. De Aza's had 2 plate appearances in this series, a hit and a walk. He's up to 207 on the year. His last start came last Sunday in Atlanta. He went 1 for 4 in that game. Playing center field today. And he goes after the sinker, and it's 1-1.
Well, the funny thing about the numbers on Gibson is in 131 innings, a sinker ball pitcher, he's given up 19 home runs this year.
His hits are up, his home runs are up from last season when he had a very good year. De Aza bluffs a bunt and takes a strike. Now Gibson comes off a really good start in Detroit his last time out. He threw 8 innings, 1 run, 5 hits. On his 8 prior starts to that, he had a 6.70 ERA, so that was kind of an aberration.
Had some shoulder problems earlier in the year, missed some time, only his 23rd start.
Breaking ball down to De Aza, 2-2. TJ Rivera on deck, then Yoenis Cespedes for the Mets, who have scored just 11 runs in their last 5 games, but they're 3-2 over that stretch because of the heroics of the pitching staff and of Granderson and his extra inning home runs last night. De Aza has to move his feet in a full count. Kyle Gibson, now 28 years old, first round pick by the Twins back in 2009 out of the University of Missouri. 32 big league wins, 36 big league losses. Last year 11-11, 3.84, but a much bigger struggle for him this year. 3-2 coming, and he walks De Aza to start the day. So the Mets get the leadoff man on.
Defense for the Twins. The 2 corner outfielders are bench players. They're giving their spelling their everyday players. Their Coors Light defense. Kenny Vargas, the switch hitting power hitter at first base. Dozier, of course, with the 41 home runs. And John Ryan Murphy. So everybody's got their secondary players in, giving a lot of their regulars a rest today after that 4-hour and 15-minute marathon last night.
Well, here's TJ Rivera, who had another terrific game last night, went 3 for 5, and now making his 5th consecutive start, becoming more of a fixture at second base. 57 at bats into TJ's big league career, and he's hitting .333.
He's a swinger. He stays level. Hasn't got a lot of power, but he's had 1 big home run, and that was in D.C. that won that ball game there. Big home run.
10th inning blast. Gave the Mets the only win in that series. De Aza at first and nobody out. Cespedes on deck, and Rivera hits the breaking ball deep but foul.
Just a little bit too quick. I think Terry inserted Rivera in the 2-hole, I believe, in the hopes of giving him some more fastballs. And he has shown, although a lot of Rivera's hits have been pulled, he does have the ability to go to the opposite field. And a guy you can hit and run with. I know Terry doesn't like hit and run, but if the opportunity presents itself, it's an option.
Well, with all the hits he's had through the 5.5 hole, they've moved the shortstop a little further over toward the hole, and that took away a base hit from Rivera on one occasion last night.
They'd probably have him over more if it wasn't a double play situation.
He has 4 stolen bases on the year.
If he hits the ball to the second baseman, the shortstop's going to have a long way to go to get to that bag. So that's the give and take of these shifts, Gary.
One and one to Rivera, and TJ pulls one toward that hole, and he gets it through for another 5.5 hole base hit. How about that? And the Mets have the first 2 men on.
Well, he has just done a terrific job, and I don't see him coming out of this lineup anytime soon.
Well, Wilmer Flores tried to swing the bat today, couldn't do it. And Terry Collins said he's anxious to have Flores back to have a right-handed bat off the bench. And the implication was that T.J. Rivera is not going anywhere. And why would he? So here is Cespedes. Cespedes had the game-tying hit in the 8th inning last night. 3 for 10 in this series. 30 home runs, 81 driven in. 6th in the league in slugging percentage, and the table set for him. 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Cespedes is hit by the pitch, and the bases are loaded. Gibson has bought himself a huge mess trying to come inside on Cespedes. A walk, a single, and now a hit by pitch. Load him up.
Well, they've been trying to pitch Yoenis inside the whole series, and this sets up a tremendous opportunity for the Mets to have a big inning here and kind of give Gabriel Inoa a big lead early.
Michael Conforto pinch hit last night, had a bases loaded chance in the 7th inning, but struck out. And now he gets a bases loaded chance right off the bat this afternoon. Michael just 2 for 15 since being recalled on the 1st of September. Bases loaded, nobody out. And Conforto lays off the breaking ball. Ball 1.
Well, when you're struggling like this, and Conforto, I think, has lost his confidence. Had such a wonderful year last year, such high hopes, and you get up in these situations where you can make a difference. They're nerve-wracking, Gary, I can tell you, for a young player.
Kelly Johnson's hitting behind Conforto in the batting order today. He's on deck. And Michael takes a fastball that just missed. 2-0. It's the 2nd time this year that Conforto's batted cleanup. He had 1 game back in April against the Reds where he hit 4th, and he went 2 for 4 that day. His first start in nearly 2 weeks. And he is in a great spot here. Bases loaded, nobody out, and a 2-0 count. Gibson struggling. And Conforto takes a strike on the outside corner.
Well, you got a sinker ball pitcher, bases loaded, nobody out. What does he need most? A double play. What's his pitch that's going to get him a double play? His sinker to a left-hander away. Just got to sit on it and think left center field.
Conforto did a lot of that back early in the season when he was tearing things up in April. And he hits one to left center field, and it's down for a base hit. De Aza in to score. Right behind him is Rivera. The throw to the plate, skips in. Rivera comes in standing up. He's safe. 2-run score, and the Mets have an early 2-0 lead. Michael Conforto comes through. He takes it the other way to drive in a pair.
Well done. A little out of the strike zone, but had the right idea. That's his bread and butter pitch. 2 big RBIs quick. I don't know what Rivera was doing. He slowed up around the bases. He looked over his shoulder. Okay, now it's down. You got to hustle. Don't look over your shoulder. Come on, kick it in. Could have been thrown out.
So the Mets load him up. Conforto drives in a pair, and the Mets off to a fast start with this offbeat lineup. And now it's Kelly Johnson, 1st and 2nd, still nobody out. And Kelly takes ball 1. His last start was Monday in Washington. He went 0 for 4. Cespedes at 2nd, Conforto at 1st with nobody out. Well, that's got to feel awfully good for Michael Conforto. The big hits have been few and far between since April turned to May. Tore it up in AAA on both of his occasions to be sent down, but had been struggling upon his return each time until that base hit. His 35th and 36th runs batted into the year. Now Gibson behind on Kelly Johnson, 2-0. And he misses away, ball 3. Give him a green light?
No, I would not.
Travis d'Arnaud hitting 6th in the order, waiting on deck.
Only because, Gary, he's a little bit off the plate. He's wild. slightly wild.
So he takes a strike, 3-1.
3-1 is just as sweet a pitch to hit. Again, same approach as Conforto here.
Teams have been playing Kelly to pull, but in a double play situation, they're playing him pretty straight up on the infield. And Johnson yanks one foul.
That was a pitch to hit, too quick. He wanted to go away, and he left it up and out over the plate.
Nightmare beginning to this game for Kyle Gibson. Gave up 1 run in 8 innings in his last start. He's given up 2 runs before recording it out this afternoon. 3-2, nobody out. And Johnson pokes one foul. Beresford takes a look, but it goes in the crowd.
He's in desperate need of a double play, Gibson.
And early action in the Twins bullpen. Andrew Albers is up before the first out is recorded.
And that would be for Lucas if he's going to be ready in time. I don't think he's going to be ready in time with 2 batters.
He pitches deep into this inning, and Gibson's still looking for his first out. 3-2 coming to Johnson, and he walked him to reload the bases. 5 straight Mets have reached base to start this game. The second walk given up by Gibson, and that'll get Neil Allen, the pitching coach, out to the mound. Well, the Mets trying to have themselves a little bit of a picnic this afternoon with many of their regulars out of the lineup. Mets last night got to 10 games over 500 for the first time this year. They had 8 tries to get from 9 to 10 over, and they finally did it. And now trying to push forward into the final 2 weeks of the season, having attained the top spot in the wild card race. Unforgettable games, undeniable greatness, and unstoppable drama. The 2016 postseason begins October 4th. For more information, go to Mets.com/postseason. The Mets hope to be a big part of that. If the season ended today, the Mets would host the Giants in the wild card game by virtue of having won the season series from San Francisco.
For what it's worth, the Mets in their 86 finest are 5-6 at home on Sundays this year, looking to go to 500.
Now Travis d'Arnaud with a chance to do some major damage. Bases loaded, nobody out, 2 runs already in. Travis 0 for 4 in this series, hitting .109 this year with runners in scoring position. 14 runs batted in 233 at bats. You can change that quickly, and he takes a breaking ball for a strike. It has been a real slog for Travis offensively, especially in the power department.
He's been taking very, very vicious, healthy cuts every pitch.
Sun begins to shine, and Travis lines one right to Dozier, and that'll be a double play. Bad luck for d'Arnaud. He hit it hard, but Dozier was right there to grab it, and he doubles off Conforto for the unassisted twin killing, and there are 2 out.
Boy, oh boy, you're living right.
Much Conforto could do.
Well, you know, it's a tough play.
So now Lucas Duda, his first at bat since May the 20th. He had a fracture in his back. The recovery was slow. The Mets figured for a long time that he was probably not going to come back this year, but started swinging the bat a couple of weeks ago. Took some live BP down in Port St. Lucie, but he's not been in a game anywhere since May. So what can he do? What is the hardest thing about coming back with no game action after 4 months on the sideline?
Gary, I don't care if you're a veteran and you've been out a long time or a rookie, you're going to be nervous the first at bat. You've almost got to go up there, Gary, and pretend like you've got an 0-2 count on you. See the ball and hit it. Just react. You're not going to be up there and go, okay, this guy throws 80% breaking balls, 1-1 count. Blah, 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 blah. primordial. I got an 0-2 count on me, and I am very dangerous backed up against this wall.
Well, when he's right, Lucas Duda is as dangerous as anybody. It's a slow ground ball past the mound. In comes Beresford, and a quick throw to get Duda, and that retires the sides. The Mets settle for 2 runs in the opening inning against Kyle Gibson. It could have been worse for him after 2-0 New York. Card when the Mets played that series in San Francisco in August and lost the first 2 games. They were 5.5 games off the wild card pace. Now they're sitting atop it, even with the Giants, but they've got the tiebreaker with San Francisco. Kenny Vargas leads off the 2nd inning. Gabriel Inoa stake to a 2-0 lead. Vargas has pinch hit in each of the first 2 games. It's his 30th start for the Twins this year.
The big, strong guy hits home runs, strikes out a lot.
Inoa had a 1-2-3 first inning. Vargas spent a good chunk of the year in AAA, hit 15 home runs there, 7 more in the big leagues.
In 109 at-bats so far this season for Vargas, he has struck out 37 times, but he's got 21 walks. He walks 2, so.
Takes up and in, 2-2. Vargas, switch hitter, who's been better from the right side of the plate. In fact, he's hitting .500 right-handed and .198 lefty.
With 4 home runs against the left-hand pitchers in those 28 at-bats.
Robbie Grossman on deck, and the changeup misses. Full count to Vargas. .23-year-old Gabriel Inoa making his first big league start. Mets have now used 11 different starting pitchers this year. That's ball 4, so he got ahead on Vargas and lost him to a leadoff walk. Inoa in the minor leagues walked very few, 40 walks in 154 innings this year, and he is known for his precision, much the way Rafael Montero was before he got to the big leagues, and Montero struggled to throw strikes at the big league level. It's in Montero's place that Inoa is getting the start today. Here's Robbie Grossman, former Houston Astros switch hitter. His first start in the series, and he takes a fastball for a strike.
Better left-hand hitter than right, hitting .374 with 5 home runs in limited action against the right-hand pitchers. Am I wrong? I got to switch it. Okay, he's got 5 home runs from both sides. 209 from the left side then again. Excuse me.
And Inoa misses high. Grossman was in the Cleveland organization when the year began in AAA, opted out of his contract, much the way James Loney did when Loney came to the Mets. Grossman opted out and was signed by the Twins, and he's played a lot. His 81st start this year. Vargas at first and nobody out. And Grossman lines one toward the middle of base hit. Vargas will pull in at second, so the first 2 Twins are aboard in the second inning. Grossman with Minnesota's first hit.
Fastball that did not sink. Wanted to come in. And that just bled out over the middle. He's got to be careful when he comes inside the left-hander. He's got to get it there. Not an overpowering pitcher. He's got to be Larry Fine with his stuff.
So here is Byron Buxton, who hit the 11th inning home run that briefly put the Twins on top last night. It was Buxton's 7th home run of the year. 6 of them have come in September, which ties him with Trey Turner of the Nats for the most home runs by rookies this month. And he got all of it. Takes a changeup for a strike.
Fastball from Robles. Wanted it away, up and in, and Robles throws 96, 97. He turned on that fastball inside.
Crushed that thing. Buxton, a player from whom much is expected, just 22 years old. He's having a fine September after struggling in his earlier trials last year and earlier this year. 2nd overall pick in the draft coming out of high school in 2012. And rated one of the top prospects in the game. Takes the fastball inside. It's 2-1.
So we got some military brass behind home plate. Navy whites. And looks like a Army with a little scrambled egg on his bill of his cap. So who's a colonel? Yes, sir.
Rated the front row. What do the Generals get? Breaking ball drilled foul.
I don't know what that is. I think that's a commander. I could be wrong. Don't quote me. Maybe lieutenant commander. That is a full bird colonel right there.
Two and two to Buxton with James Beresford on deck. Just got a piece of that. Inoa had a cruise through the first inning. 1-2-3 on 12 pitches. A little more troublesome here in the second. Walked Vargas after getting ahead on the count. Gave up the hit to Grossman. Now 2-2 to Buxton after the Mets got him 2 runs in the first inning. And Buxton goes down on strikes.
Good pitch.
Fastball in for his 2nd strikeout, the first out of the inning.
Well, when you've got a good sinker, righty, you throw that boring fastball. That's tough to get a barrel on it when it's down. You see how the bat has to be angled, like almost like a golf swing, and that ball's moving from left to right. It's hard to square up when you locate on that inside corner.
Now it's James Beresford, his 3rd start in the big leagues. He's quite the story for the Twins. 10-year minor league veteran, finally getting his first call up. He's a native of Australia who in 10 minor league seasons had a .283 batting average with only 4 home runs in those 10 years for the Twins. And they rewarded his loyalty to the organization with a September call up. And a start today. He's 2 for 8 so far in the majors. And when he was called up, the entire organization was so happy for him. Apparently he's incredibly well regarded that they made sure that his parents were able to fly in from Australia 26 hours from Melbourne
Very
to
nice.
get there for his big league debut. Vargas at second, Grossman at first with one out. Inoa behind 2-0 on Beresford. And he lines one the other way for a base hit. Vargas to third. Cespedes gets to it quickly, so no chance for Vargas to think about scoring. And now the Twins have the bases loaded with one out.
This is going to be one of those lineups with the guys on the bench that you think it's going to be hard to score runs, and it might be a slugfest.
Well, we're going to see a lot of pitchers in the game today. You saw the Twins already had their bullpen up in the first inning behind Kyle Gibson, and Terry Collins has already said he doesn't expect that much from Inoa, maybe once or at the most twice through the lineup. Then he's got Sean Gilmartin and Logan Verrett, guys who can give him multiple innings available behind Inoa. Obviously, if he kicks it in gear and pitches well, he'll go a little farther with him. But Inoa hasn't started a game since August. Now it's John Ryan Murphy, the former Yankee, traded from the Yankees in the deal that sent Aaron Hicks to the Bronx. Vargas at third, Grossman at second, Beresford at first with one out. Murphy spent a large chunk of this year in the minor leagues, just 56 big league at bats. He's hitting 143. Inoa in need of a ground ball to get himself through this inning. And Murphy lays off, ball one. Whole game. Check swing foul. And it's a ball and a strike to Murphy.
8 for 56 on the year, 143 average with 1 home run, 2 RBIs. He can't be feeling in a groove, limited playing time.
At 236 in AAA this year in 83 games. He was a second-round draft pick by the Yankees, but they wound up trading him for Hicks, who was also a highly regarded prospect with the Twins. Fouled away 1 and 2, and neither one has really reached the heights that those organizations had hoped, so they swapped them for one another.
So it looks like we got lucky with the weather as far as that tropical depression right now. I guess Atlanta's getting dumped on today. It's going to come up here and rain tonight supposedly and into the morning and then clear up for tomorrow night's Wago.
Delay the Braves getting here. They'll be in for a 3-game series starting tomorrow night.
You don't want any rain outs, double headers down in September when you're pushing for postseason.
1-2 coming, and the slider low and away. Good stop by d'Arnaud. 2-2. Inoa 22 pitches deep into this second inning with one out. The pitcher Gibson is on deck.
This would be a nice game for the Mets to break out offensively and score some runs and give that bullpen a little rest, especially that back end of that bullpen.
2-2 to Murphy, and it's up and away in a full count. So Inoa really struggling with his command here. Several times he's gotten ahead of hitters and then missed badly. Now with the bases loaded, he's run a full count to the number 8 hitter. He's hitting just 143. Guy he needs to go after. 3-2 coming. And Murphy hits it in the air to right. That'll get a run in. Over comes Conforto to get it. Tagging at third is Vargas. He'll come in to score. Grossman goes to third. It's a sacrifice fly for John Ryan Murphy to cut the Met lead to 2-1.
Look at those big gloves, huh? You don't have to if you don't want to, Garrett.
I was looking right at it. I didn't know that you wanted to comment. Sean Gilmartin up in the Mets bullpen. So there's not going to be a lot of rope for Gabriel Inoa. I mean, the Mets are playing an offbeat lineup today, but the game is still of great importance. And Terry will use as many relievers as he has to try and patch this thing together today. Here's Kyle Gibson, 0 for 5 this year. 2 for 14 in his career, and he fouls back the first pitch. By the way, speaking of patching things together, you see what the Indians did yesterday? Their starting pitcher, Carlos Carrasco, suffered a broken hand on a line drive on the second pitch he threw, and the Indians used 9 pitchers to pitch a 1-0 shutout.
Wow.
That's a major league record for most pitchers in a shutout.
Would not be able to do that otherwise only in September.
Well, Indians have a big problem. They've got an 8-game lead, but now Danny Salazar out for the year, Carlos Carrasco out for the year, which leaves Corey Kluber and a much thinner rotation heading for the postseason. 0-2 to Gibson, and he hits a ground ball right at Reynolds. He'll go to first with it, and that retires the side. So the Twins cash just the 1 run on the sac fly by Murphy. 2-1 Mets in the second. On Twitter during the 5th inning of today's game for details on how to enter the SNY 5th inning sweepstakes presented by Tri-State Ford. By the way, Keith, it looks like the rain is cleared in Atlanta. They're playing baseball.
Good.
The Nats and the Braves, no score on the second.
I believe that depression is out in the ocean, so it's going to come up Cape Hatteras here and work its way slowly up.
No reason to be depressed. Matt Reynolds leads off in the second inning. Reynolds making his 19th start for the Mets, hitting .232 in 82 at bats. Kyle Gibson fortunate to survive that first inning, and throws a good slider to get ahead on Reynolds. 0-2. Mets had 2 runs in, bases loaded, nobody out, and a line drive double play helped Gibson survive.
And that was off the bat of Kelly. Darno. Bullet.
Well, you talked about Inoa not being a strikeout pitcher, and the same goes for Gibson. Just over 6 strikeouts per 9 innings this year. That is very reliant on the ground ball, but he gave up some shots in that first inning.
You know, there was a day when 6 strikeouts per 9 innings was good.
I know.
And
Reynolds strikes out for the first out. Well, just think about last night. Met hitters struck out 16 times in the 12-inning loss.
I mean, the guys that struck out 16 were the Bert Blylevens, the Dwight Goodens, Nolan Ryans, Tom Seaver.
Last night for the Colorado Rockies, John Gray struck out 16 against the Padres, a new franchise record for them, breaking Darryl Kyle's mark. Here's Inoa, his first big league at bat. 4 for 59 in his minor league career.
I like it. He crowds the plate. Does he have any idea how close he is?
Well, he's got the.
Oh, we got the elbow.
Guard.
It's very dangerous in there, that tight.
Well, we've not seen him hit before, but you know, maybe he's got that Ron Hunt mentality. Get on any way you can. Hunt, who once got hit 50 times in one season.
Who was the first original? Who was the All-Star in '62 for the Mets?
Richie Ashburn.
That's right.
But Hunt was the first Met to start an All-Star game. That was in '64 when the game was played at Shea. Inoa drives one to right field. Schaefer's there to grab it, but Inoa hit the ball hard. 1 out, 2 out. So his first big league at bat. His hard hit ball rate is 100%.
Is that good?
It's better than 0. Two out and nobody on. Now De Aza, who got the Mets started in the first inning with a leadoff walk. Across baseball this year, teams are striking out over 8 times per game for the first time in history. The previous high was set last year. 7.7 strikeouts per game per team. This year 8.01. Strikeout rate has gone up in baseball each of the last 9 years. And it's great for the pitchers, but it's really not helping the game. De Aza hits it sharply. Dozier with a nice stop. Up and throwing in time to get De Aza side retired. Nice play by Dozier to end the inning. So Gibson bounces back with a 1-2-3 second. Brian Dozier, home run hitter, who can also field his position. After 2-1 New York.
Good day for a
lifelong fan.
Hey, day games are the best.
Top of the batting order for the Twins in the third against Gabriel Inoa. Brian Dozier grounded out on the first pitch of the game. And he takes a strike. Cold hard facts brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. This is really amazing. We've talked a lot about second basemen and how good they've been this year offensively. More home runs than ever before by second basemen. But look at the thing at the bottom. That to me is stunning. That for the first time in history, second basemen are going to have a higher slugging percentage than outfielders, who are generally your best offensive players and your most slugging offensive players. That is absolutely phenomenal.
Well, we are in a hitter-friendly era of baseball.
But why would second basemen have a higher slugging percentage than outfielders? It seems like an aberration.
I mean, if it's a better offensive era, you would think that outfielders would be having better numbers than they normally do, and they generally are your best hitters, your outfielders and your first baseman.
It'd be more stunning if it was a shortstops, of course, but I don't know what to make of it, Gary. I mean, everybody, you know, I'm a little over 6 feet, and everybody's so much taller than me. And these guys are in better shape.
Dozier takes strike 3 called. Slider gets him looking, and he's not happy about that. Ramon DeJesus rings him up for Inoa's 3rd strikeout.
By better shape, I mean they're better conditioned. Look at this. This is a backup slider.
Paint in the corners. Stop by your local Sherwin-Williams store for all your painting needs.
And you can see they used the white paint on that corner that time.
Here's Logan Schaefer, who had a foul fly, and Cespedes made a nice catch against the sidewall this first time. Well, also look at the fact that second baseman not only hitting home runs, but the top 4 batting averages in baseball.
They're good hitters.
All belong to second baseman.
Altuve is going to lead the league in hitting.
Altuve,
LeMahieu
are 1-2 in the American League, and LeMahieu and Murphy in the National League. Schaefer fouls one off.
You know, it's interesting. You think of when we grew up, Gary, and I'm older than you, so I can go back. Tony Kubek and Bobby Richardson of the Yankees. They were the classic keystone. Tony Kubek hit second, first. Richardson was that's the number 2 hitter. They didn't have power. Great fielders. That's what it was back in the 60s and 50s. And then the Joe Morgans came in and at second base, who was the greatest second baseman I've ever seen.
Well, you talk about how players are bigger now. And Schaefer strikes out on the breaking ball in the dirt, and Darno makes the toss. Back-to-back strikeouts for Inoa, and they're at 2 out. The first guy I remember, big second baseman, was Bobby Grich.
Bobby Grich, Southern California, USC guy, I believe. Great guy, California Angel, Baltimore Oriole.
And then you had Jeff Kent, who hit more home runs than any second baseman in history. Of course, Ryan Sandberg wasn't that big, but he hit a lot of home runs.
And I want to clarify why I said they're in better shape. They lift. Everything is much more. When I not so much conditioning as far as running and stamina to get you through 6 months, 162 games of a season in 182 days. These guys that work out now, we were discouraged from lifting weights, and I think things have come along more scientifically, the different muscle groups that are good for a player, and that's why I think the power numbers have increased, Gary.
Ford grabs the pop-up from Polanco, and Inoa has a 1-2-3 top of the 3rd. So far, so good for Inoa. 2-1 New York in the 3rd. To the Porsche Grill, and the Steve Gelb's report today is brought to you by Porsche. Steve?
Gary, it's been a lost season for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, but Albert Pujols is putting together yet another incredible offensive year. Yesterday, hit his 30th home run of the season, the 14th time in Pujols' career that he's hit 30 or more home runs in a year. Just the 4th player in the history of baseball to do that. The other 3, Hank Aaron, Barry Bonds, and Alex Rodriguez. And Pujols, by the way, the quickest to ever do it. 14 of his 16 seasons, 30 or more home runs.
590 now for Pujols' brilliant career.
Amazing.
So he'll be bearing down on 600 early next season.
First ballot Hall of Famer.
For sure. TJ Rivera swings and misses at a slider, and it's 0-2. They're your active home run leaders. By the way, David Ortiz may be having the best last season anybody's ever had. I think Dave Kingman still has the record, 35 home runs in his last season. And that wasn't by his choice. Nobody wanted him after that. Rivera fouls one off, but Ortiz is leading the American League in slugging, leading the American League in extra base hits as he goes out the door. And, you know, with the Red Sox now with a 3-game lead in the AL East, he'll be doing more come October as well, it would appear.
I think the cherry on top will be a division crown and an American League flag and a World Series. That would just be like crowning the king.
Well, we'll see if the Red Sox have enough pitching to sustain themselves in the postseason. But again, you know, you look at the other favorites in that American League, and you know, Cleveland's now lost 2 of the most important starting pitchers, and Texas has seen their best 2 starters, Darvish and Hamels, get beat up in the last week. So who knows how that's all going to shake out.
You know, I'm not a big American League fan growing up in San Francisco in my youth with just the Giants in the National League, but this is a rare year for me where I've really got a lot of interest in them in postseason. I find all the teams that are going to get in the American League, I find them intriguing.
Rivera had a base hit, scored a run in the first, and TJ fouls one off his leg. To me, the larger issue, and you know, we're seeing it with the Mets now with all the pitchers who've gone down, and just talked about the Indians losing their 2 starters. With now the possibility of playing 20 postseason games with pitchers more fragile than ever, how do you win? How do you keep enough guys healthy through October to be able to win a championship? That seems to be the most difficult issue for every team, keeping the starting pitching from falling off the shelf.
Rivera hits one deep to left field. Back goes Grossman, back near the wall, and it's out of here. TJ Rivera with his 2nd major league home run, his 1st at Citi Field. The hometown kid making his mark. 3-1 New York.
He's playing his way into a postseason roster. Hanging breaking ball. Right there. Yes, sir. Keep that front shoulder in. And a flick of the wrist. It's that simple. Well done.
TJ not known for his power, but he has displayed some at the big league level. That Mets home run means $2,000 for No Kid Hungry, enough to provide 20,000 healthy meals courtesy of Citi. That's home run number 202 for the Mets this year. They've hit more home runs this year than ever before. Curtis Granderson hit the tying and go-ahead home runs on the all-time list in last night's extra inning affair. The 20th home run allowed by Kyle Gibson, which has really been a bugaboo for him this year, a sinker ball pitcher.
And that's ripped down the line by Cespedes. That's a fair ball going into the corner.
And Cespedes stands at second. Back-to-back extra base hits. Rivera a home run. Now Cespedes his 22nd double of the year.
That ball was ripped. The best right-hand hitters in baseball. Look at that. Barrel out. He's a hitter. What a powerful swing.
So the Mets have their 4th hit. And here's Conforto, who has the biggest one so far. A bases loaded single that drove in 2 runs in the first. Cespedes at second and nobody out. Cespedes wanted in today when all the other veterans were getting the day off, and even with the bad quad, he wanted to play. And so play he has. Got nicked on the elbow by a pitch his first time, doubled his second time, making his decision look worthwhile.
And that's quiet leadership, Gary, is that I'm the guy that is the most important player of the everyday players in the lineup every day. I'm playing. I don't need an off day. Got 2 weeks left. I can dig deep. Put me in there. Love it.
Plenty of time to rest in November.
Well, that's the old line, right? We got all winter to rest. But he has proven here that he can play with discomfort, aches and pains. You can see him pounding that quad. It's still bothering him. It's not going to go away until it gets rest.
See the note about Cespedes that he's going to be visiting his namesake, the horse Cespedes, at Belmont Park on Tuesday.
Well, good for him.
I mean, he's already been on a horse this year back in spring training. He and Noah Syndergaard came riding in.
As long as he doesn't,
St. Lucie.
As long as he doesn't ride the horse, can't gallop it.
Conforto pops one up in his shallow right. Schaefer looking through the sunglasses. And Cespedes will stay put, and that's the first out.
Cespedes, as he has all winter to rest that quad, he has all winter to play golf and go ride horses.
Well, I was going to say, if he's going to visit the horse at Belmont on Tuesday, that means he's not on the golf course that day. Now,
is he still golfing?
He was asked not to. Now, whether he is or not, I do not know.
He's a little compromised there.
He's doing a lot of stretching out there at second base. Now Kelly Johnson, who walked his first time up. And the curveball pulled foul.
Oh my goodness, who's that guy? That might be a future batting champ. Notice how I'm holding.
Is that you?
Notice how I'm holding the reins with my right hand.
Oh, that is so cute. Keith on his horsey.
Check the hat. I look like Cesar Romero without the mustache.
Boy, he grew up good, didn't he? That is so cute.
Yes, it was. That was Knoxbury Farm, believe it or not, down in Los Angeles, where I had that photo. My parents took us down when we were several times, a couple more than around 3 times to Disneyland, long before there was any Disney World.
Here's the question: did you get to keep the hat?
I don't know where that hat came from, to be honest with you.
Outside to Johnson, 2-1.
You see, little did my parents know, or the photographer, that there was a future major leaguer on that horse.
That half a century later would be showing that picture on TV. Hooked down to first, and Vargas makes the play for the second out as Cespedes goes to third.
You knew every year in Little League, when my dad was the coach, and he would have his first get together with all the players he drafted. The first workout, he would talk to all the players sitting around him, and he'd go, you know, Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, Stan Musial, Juan Marichal, they were all your age once. He goes, major leaguers got to come from somewhere. Why don't you make it you? And that just resonated with me. That just clicked. What a great pep talk.
And just think, some Little League coach might be saying today, Keith Hernandez, he started out in Little League. Look at him. Here's Travis d'Arnaud, who lined into a double play his first time up. And he hits one hard. Cespedes had to exhibit evasive maneuvers. For a strike, and it's 0-2. Cespedes at third and 2 out. 0-2 to d'Arnaud, and he takes inside. 1-2. Lucas Duda hitting 7th in the order. It's been so long for Lucas, it's almost like an apparition.
I know.
To see him back on the field.
Fractured back, right?
Yep.
Where was it? Lower, upper?
Lower.
Jeez.
That's about a lot of back issues between David Wright's spinal stenosis and Neil Walker's herniated disc and Lucas's fracture. And of the three, only Lucas has been able to come back this season. Breaking ball strikes out d'Arnaud. Murphy makes the toss. Side retired. Second strikeout for Gibson. TJ Rivera's home run expands the Mets lead. After 3 at Citi Field, the Mets up 3-1. Fan Appreciation Weekend and the final regular season home game of 2016 when the Mets play the Phillies. All fans in attendance will receive a 2017 magnetic schedule courtesy of Hyundai. Plus, all kids 12 and under can run the bases in the Mr. Med Dash presented by Northwell Health. For tickets, visit Mets.com/tickets. Kenneth Vargas leading off in the 4th inning for the Twins. He walked and scored the Minnesota run in the 2nd inning. Vargas, 26 years old. native of Puerto Rico, an undrafted free agent. All players in the U.S., Canada, and Puerto Rico are subject to the Major League Draft. All players born elsewhere are not. So it's unusual to see a game where two undrafted free agents are on the field. Vargas for the Twins and T.J. Rivera for the Mets. I mean, how many guys who are subject to the draft and are never drafted even make it to the big leagues? And Rivera is off to a phenomenal start. One-two from Inoa, and Vargas takes the changeup down. 2-2. We make a lot about Mike Piazza having been drafted in the 62nd round as a favor. Probably wouldn't have been drafted at all had it not been for Tommy Lasorda. But not too many guys slip through. The backdoor slider gets Vargas looking. 5th strikeout for Inoa. So for a guy who is not known as a strikeout pitcher, he's got 5 through 3 1/3.
A little backdoor slider.
Painting the corners. Inoa's doing that. Stop by your local Sherwin-Williams store for all of your painting needs. Painted white.
Painted black.
Black. I see a red door.
Okay, Nick.
Grossman takes outside, ball 1. Robbie Grossman singled to center field, one of the 2 hits that Inoa has allowed. And Grossman's got another one. So Robbie Grossman, his first start in the series, and he's 2 for 2. So the Twins have a 1-out base runner, and Byron Buxton coming up. Buxton struck out his first time up. Grossman at first and 1 out, and Buxton trying to bunt his way on, and he fouls it off. Tried to do that last night. He ran into the ball and was called out. Verizon trivia question for today. Kirby Puckett, one of 5 players with 2,000 or more hits from 1984 to 95. That was the length of Kirby's career. Who were the other 4 who had 2,000 hits in that 12-year period from 84 to 95? Kirby would have played more than 12 years, but his career was short-circuited by glaucoma. That cost him his vision sufficient to be a big league player, and then of course Kirby died too young in his 40s.
Had that great World Series against the Cardinals. 87, correct?
Yes. Side 1 and 2. Inoa ahead 1 and 2 on Buxton. Checks in on Grossman, who's not a base stealer. James Beresford on deck. First big league start for Gabriel Inoa. 60 pitches deep now. That's going to get the bullpen cranking again as Buxton goes down on strikes for the 2nd time. Nicely done by Inoa, his 6th strikeout.
Nope, that's a slider right down the pipe, and he got away with it.
So 2 out. Grossman still at first, and now James Beresford. Jim Henderson up in the Mets bullpen. Sean Gilmartin was up in the 2nd inning, but Inoa was able to pitch around some trouble. Gave up just the 1 run. And Beresford takes a curveball for a strike. Beresford, 27 years old, hit .269 in AAA this year. No home runs. And a base hit to left field his first time up today, his third hit in 9 big league at bats. And he grounds one foul. 0-2.
Well, Terry Collins would have said he would be happy with 4 innings out of Inoa. Well, he's 1 out away. A little stirring in the Met bullpen.
Yeah, he figured once, at the most twice through the batting order for Inoa. And here he is, getting toward the bottom his second time through. Ahead 0-2 on Beresford. And it's on the inside corner. Strike 3 called. He got the call from Ramon DeJesus. That is 7 strikeouts for Gabriel Inoa, including 3 in that 4th inning. Now Lucas Duda, his first day back on a baseball field since May the 20th. Good to have Duda back. He'll be coming up for the Mets in the bottom of the 4th. Lucas Duda leads off the home 4th for New York against Kyle Gibson and takes a fastball for a strike. Lucas in his first at bat in 4 months hit a slow ground ball to third and was thrown out to end the 1st inning. 3 infielders on the right side as he's accustomed to seeing. So it's funny, his first time up he hits a little cue shot ground ball toward third. If he did that again with this infield alignment, he'd have an infield hit.
Yes.
Matt Reynolds on deck, and then Gabriel Inoa for the Mets in the 4th. Duda lays off the breaking ball, 1-2. Lucas had 130 at bats before he went down, 7 home runs, hit 27 last year, 30 the year before. And I don't know how easy it's going to be for him to get back in any kind of groove after so much time away as he strikes out on the changeup.
I agree, Garrett.
But if somehow he could, he certainly adds a different dimension to the Mets lineup, different than James Loney, who's been holding down that spot.
Well, he's going to provide more power. He's a much more dangerous hitter.
Higher on base percentage, certainly more home runs. But it can't be easy. You know, there's a reason why they introduced the concept of a rehab assignment into baseball a number of years ago to give players who were injured a chance to get themselves up to speed. But once the minor league season ends on Labor Day, unless your teams are in the playoffs and you get a couple of games to get yourself back in, there's just nothing available in terms of game action. And that's the situation Dude is in. 0-2 to Reynolds, who struck out his first time up. Road Ahead brought to you by GMC. After today, the Mets have 13 games remaining, all against teams with losing records, starting with the Braves tomorrow night. 3 with the Braves, 4 with the Phillies here, and then 3 in Miami, 3 in Philly to end the season. The Braves showed the Mets in Atlanta last week that they're not going to be a pushover. Their offense is a different team than it was earlier in the season. Reynolds strikes out. That's back-to-back strikeouts for Gibson to start the 4th. And Freddie Freeman and Ender Inciarte are both incredibly hot right now. Freeman just got a hit. He's hit in 22 straight games. And Inciarte has more hits since the All-Star break than anybody in baseball. And 87 hits after the All-Star break coming into the day, which is #1 in the majors. Well, here's Inoa, who has done as well as the Mets could have possibly expected over the first 4 innings. And so he'll get another and a chance maybe to get a win today. Inoa got a win in his first major league appearance. He pitched in relief against San Diego August 13th. Worked an inning in relief. Mets scored in the bottom of the inning, and he got the win. Became the first Met since Kenny Greer in 1993 to get a win in relief in his major league debut. Kenny got his win in a 17-inning 1-0 game against the Cardinals. With number foul. And I believe that was the only game that Kenny Greer ever pitched for the Mets. Might have been the only game he ever pitched in the majors. Check that out. Two from Gibson, and Inoa makes contact. Polanco comes in to get it, and the quick throw gets Inoa, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Kyle Gibson in the bottom of the 4th. Inoa will head back to the mound for the 5th, working with a 3-1 lead in his first big league start.
Delivers. Pocket swings and hits a blast. Deep left center. Way back. Way back. It's gone. The Twins go to the 7th game. Touch 'em all, Kirby Puckett. Touch 'em all, Kirby Puckett. And the Twins have won this game 4-3.
Great call by John Gordon, former Twins announcer. Game 6 of the 1991 World Series. Puckett won it with a home run, and the Twins won the next night on the Gene Larkin walk-off hit after the great pitchers duel between John Smoltz and Jack
That was
Morris.
off Charlie Leibrandt, that home run.
To answer the Verizon trivia question, the other 4 players, there they are. Wynn, Boggs, Mattingly, and Brett Butler had over 2,000 hits in that 12-year span when Puckett played.
It's a lot of base hits. How about Brett Butler? You would have thought that leadoff hitter.
2005 hits, and only half of them came on bunts. Well, that may be an exaggeration.
Brett Butler was a good player. He could play the outfield, didn't have a good arm. He could steal bases. He was a good leadoff hitter.
And as adept at bunting for base hits as anybody in the game.
He just had a knack of getting everybody a little angry at him. I like Brett. I had no issue with him. He was a hustler.
Spent some time as a Met in the mid-90s. Lined to center field right at De Aza to retire John Ryan Murphy for the first down. Well, the other piece of that 6th game was the catch that Kirby made, leaping against the plexiglass.
That's shades of Willie McGee in the '82 World Series in Milwaukee.
He didn't look like a ball player. About 5'8", rotund, but boy, he could do it all.
He was not rotund. He was built close to like Hack Wilson.
Well, Hack Wilson had some pounds on him.
Kirby could run.
Yeah, he could do everything.
Yep. That World Series he had against the Cardinals was in '87 was just phenomenal. Hit 357. Ten for 28, 5 runs, drove in 3.
That was the Twins' heyday, winning those 2 World Series in a 5-year span, in '87 and then in '91. Gibson takes a call, 3rd strike, and Inoa runs his strikeout count to 8. What a great performance this has been for Gabriel Inoa. You know, the Twins began life as the Washington Senators. They moved to Minnesota in 1961. So the same franchise as the one that Walter Johnson pitched for in Washington.
And that Washington team that moved had Jim Cott, Harmon Killebrew.
Yeah. I think Camilo Pascual was on
Camilo Pascual. Everybody, no one, you kids would not know about Camilo Pascual. Had one of the great curveballs in Major League Baseball of his time. He was a 20-game winner. He was a great pitcher and pitched in low markets. You never heard of him. One of the fine pitchers. He was the ace of that Twin staff, along with Jim Mudcat Grant was on that team.
Mudcat Grant, Jim Cott, 65 when they beat the Dodgers.
Mudcat Grant was
or they lost to the Dodgers.
They lost to the Dodgers, of course. That was Koufax beat Jim Cott in Game 7
on 2 days rest.
Yep.
0-2 to Dozier, who's 0 for 2. Noah 1 out away from qualifying for a win. And it misses high to Dozier, 1-2. It's phenomenal what's gone on here. You know, Lugo and Gazelman, and now here's Inoa, who had really struggled in relief, getting a chance to start for the first time, and he has been everything the Mets would have hoped. And Dozier fouls it back. Inoa's strikeout high in the minors this season was 8, and he's got 8 today, including Dozier looking in the 3rd inning. Dozier 2 for 11 in this series. It's the guy you worried about most coming into the series, and the Mets have handled him so far. 2-2 to Dozier. 5th inning brought to you by your Tri-State Ford dealers, who invite you to test drive a new Ford. You'll discover why Ford is the total package. 2 out and nobody on. 2-2 to Dozier. Lined in left, a base hit. Chased toward the line by Cespedes, has it on the backhand, and he'll hold Dozier to a single. Nicely played by Cespedes. So Dozier has his 3rd hit of the series and the first one that's reached the outfield.
He tomahawked this one. This ball was up and in. Cespedes with the backhand. He's got the strong arm. I was watching. I don't see him touching any part of his quad. Hanging slider, turn.
And that is going to be all for Gabriel Inoa. So after giving up a 2-out hit to Dozier with the left-hand hitter Schaefer coming up, Terry Collins is going to make a pitching change.
Well,
it's a little disappointing for Inoa, who leaves after 4 2/3, short of qualifying for a win as a starter.
Well, he can't be happy. 1 out from a W. You can't say anything when you're a September call-up.
Well, he certainly has to be happy with his performance. He certainly earned himself the right to get another look next time through the rotation. Josh Edgin will come on to face the left-hand hitter. The call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon. We'll be right back. Josh Edgin got the win last night in the Mets' 12-inning victory. He's brought in here with 2 out and a runner at first in the 5th inning to face Logan Schaefer, who's 0 for 2 today. And the breaking ball misses inside, ball 1.
There's Josh's numbers right there. A bit surprised at the move by Terry here, not giving the youngster another out, chance for a W. I know you're fighting for the pennant, but it's not like there's Lou Gehrig up.
Shallow left field. Cespedes hustles in, slides, and he trapped it, I believe. Oh, or did he get it? They say he made the catch. I think he trapped that ball.
I think he trapped it, and he's going to have a conversation, and Brian Gorman's going to be overruled here. And just what I see now is clear not a catch. Just a lack of hustle by the umpires on pop-ups, not busting out to get a better look.
Did any umpire make a call on this? Because I did not see an umpire make a call. Did Ryan Gorman call him out? I mean, that's clearly a trap.
Gorman called him out, and he was overruled because some other umpire, I guess not.
Well,
oh yes, yeah. Terry's just going to make a change.
So, so it's a pop fly single for Schaefer. Nice effort by Cespedes, but he just couldn't get there. So on the trap, it's a base hit for Schaefer, and that's going to be it for Edgin. And we'll get another pitching change. 3-1 Mets in the 5th. We'll be right back.
New York on Sunday.
Yes, Bobby.
Big city taking a nap.
Sweet East River. Where's my condo? My old condo there. Oh.
Eric Adell hasn't pitched in 8 days. He's going to be asked to get Jorge Polanco out in what has become a big spot. Gabriel Inoa pulled after 4 2/3 edge and gave up that pop fly single to Schaefer. And now the tying runs are aboard. Dozier at second, Schaefer at first with 2 out for Polanco, who has struck out and flied out. Pitch low and in for ball 1.
Well, you got to keep your fingers crossed here, Terry Collins. This could blow up right here.
And Terry pulled Inoa after 76 pitches after the 2-out single by Dozier. And that skips away from d'Arnaud, and that moves the tying runs into scoring position.
Looks like 2 splitters. Not even close. Goodell is just. He was so good mid-season.
So now a 2-0 count to Polanco. A base hit could tie this game for the Twins. Dozier at third, Schaefer at second with 2 out. Big Kenny Vargas is on deck. And Polanco takes a splitter for a strike. Dozier and Schaefer, each with 2 out hits. A wild pitch moved him up. And now Goodell trying to get a key out. And Polanco takes outside. 3-1.
All 4 splitters.
Now Vargas, who has more power than anybody else in this lineup other than Dozier, is looming on deck. Three-1 coming. And that's outside ball 4. He threw him 5 splitters in a row, and he walked Polanco to load the bases. Well, this is not what Terry had in mind when he took Inoa out of the game. Inoa, who looked like he had more in the tank, pulled, and now 2 relievers have given up a single and a walk.
A tad inexplicable.
And now the cleanup hitter Vargas will step in. He's walked and struck out today, 0 for 1. So Goodell throwing 5 straight splitters to Polanco. What does he do now to Vargas with the bases loaded?
He's got to throw a strike.
And he throws the fastball inside for ball 1. And d'Arnaud is going to run it out to the mound, and he's going to be joined by Dan Warthen. Well, Terry said he would have a plethora of bullpen today behind Inoa. I think Inoa gave him more than he expected, which is probably why he pulled him here in the 5th inning. But the plethora so far is still looking for its first out.
The plethora, I feel, and I very seldom disagree with Terry, could have started in the 6th inning.
I mean, maybe Inoa wouldn't have gotten Schaefer
well,
out.
You deserved another batter.
Yeah, I agree. Dozier at third, Schaefer at second, Polanco at first with 2 out. And Vargas takes a high strike. Goodell got a break there, 1-1.
Oh, he's been consistent, Ramon De Jesus, the home plate umpire. He's been consistent with the high strike. It's just I thought that ball might have been outside, but it's a key pitch right here.
3 infielders on the right side against Vargas. And he fouls back. 1-2.
Hallelujah. Get ahead with a fastball.
Now ahead in the count, perhaps he can go to the splitter. 1-2 from Goodell, and it's fouled off. Splitter that time. Dozier, Schaefer, and Polanco the base runners. Again, the 1-2 to Vargas, and he fouls back another one. Fastball that time.
Hasn't thrown a curveball yet.
Wonder whether all the issues that Eric's had with his elbow affect his ability to throw his curveball right now. Again, the 1-2, and there's the curveball, but it sits high, and now it's 2-2 to Vargas.
Big shift on the infield. TJ Rivera out in the outfield grass.
Seventh pitch of the at-bat upcoming from Goodell to Vargas. And a check swing tapper on the splitter, and they'll do it again. Jim Henderson back to work in the Mets bullpen. Second time he's been up today. Two coming. Struck him out. He got him with the splitter. And Goodell gets a king-sized out in the top of the fifth. Ninth strikeout for Met pitchers in the first 5 innings. As the Twins strand 3. Halfway through, 3-1 New York. Your 4th, 5th inning recap. Gabriel Inoa was terrific in his first big league start. TJ Rivera with a home run. Michael Conforto a 2-run single, and the Mets lead 3-1 as they come to bat in the bottom of the 5th. Third time through the batting order for Kyle Gibson. Alejandro De Aza walked and scored in the first, grounded out in the second. Gibson's retired 6 in a row. Best stretch he's had so far this afternoon. And De Aza swings at the changeup and misses. 1-1. Gibson gave up 2 runs in the first inning before he ever recorded an out. Then the home run to Rivera in the 3rd. And De Aza lines one right to the shortstop, and it goes right through Polanco and into center field. A difficult hop, but right on by Polanco, and De Aza's aboard. And they're going to score that an error on Polanco.
And rightly so. He's in front of it. He did not get in front. He pulled the old matador. Whoopsie. Little El Cid there. That only works in southern Spain, not in Flushing. Trying to get in front.
What about northern Spain? I didn't know there was a distinction.
Well, Andalusia would be a better word.
I have so much to learn. Here's T.J. Rivera, who's 2 for 2. A single and his 2nd big league home run as he continues to shine.
He had a chance to get in front of this, Gary. He did. We want no part of it. Got to get in front.
So the error on Polanco gives the Mets a leadoff base runner. Rivera now 6 for 11 in this series after his home run in the 3rd. And he's raised his big league batting average to .356. Well, our good friends at Cholula have been kind enough to bring us a variety of their very flavorful hot sauces, particularly the green pepper, my favorite. And it goes with your
the green pepper is outstanding. And oh, I just spilt my wings.
He dropped his wings. Oh, don't drop the wings.
It's on my scorecard.
It puts a crimp in the presentation. Here, wings and tacos.
The Chipotle is pretty good too.
2-0 to Rivera. Nice thing about Cholula is that in addition to the spice, the heat that it brings, it's a very flavorful hot sauce.
Yes, I like it on my eggs in the morning. I've always said that. I like spice.
Me too. But even people who don't necessarily like hot sauce love Cholula. Rivera smacks that one to center, but Buxton is right there. And that's the first out of the inning. First time TJ has been retired today. So 1 out and 1 on. Now Cespedes, who's been hit on the elbow by a pitch and then hit a hard double into the left field corner.
Can you imagine if we had 3 in the booth? There'd be no room for this.
It's a lot of food, Keith, but I know you're up to it. Wish I'd left a little room from all those wonderful baked goods that producer Greg Picker made possible from Wall's Bakery today. That's hit sharply. Polanco handles this one cleanly. Out at second, and Dozier's turn in time for the double play. Cespedes not running hard on that bad leg. He hit a bullet, but it turns into a 6-4-3 to get Gibson through the bottom of the 5th. On to the 6th we go with the Mets up 3-1. Sixth inning at Citi Field. Robbie Grossman leads off for the Twins. Mets up 3-1. Eric Goodell, who got out of trouble in the fifth, stays on for the sixth and gets the curveball in for a strike. Grossman is single to center, single to right, 2 for 2. Byron Buxton on deck, then James Beresford for the Twins. And Grossman takes another curve. This one's outside, 1-1. Well, you have to be impressed with what we saw from Gabriel Inoa this afternoon. First big league start. Guy not known as a strikeout pitcher. Struck out 8 over 4 2/3. Allowed just a run on 4 hits. The question as the Mets move forward through these last 2 weeks of the season, as far as that spot of the rotation is concerned, is the status of Steven Matz, which seems to be the great unknown right now. Matz threw a bullpen yesterday down in Florida, felt okay. And the thinking right now is that Matz will rejoin the Mets sometime this coming week. The question is, having not pitched in a month, how many innings can Matz give you? Can he be a starter for you? Do you have to relegate him to the bullpen? Do you start him and then piggyback somebody behind him?
I think you're going to start him, and if he's used to starting and you have a designated amount of pitches and you go to the bullpen.
Another hot shot by Grossman, and he's 3 for 3. So Robbie Grossman having himself an afternoon. And the Twins have the leadoff man on. Let's go to the studio for a game break. Doug Williams, brought to you by your local Honda dealers. Doug. They are hitting those Braves.
And I tell you what, folks, that Dansby Swanson has got a very nice swing. It reminds me of the manager of the Twins down there, Paul Molitor, a little bit. Has that kind of swing.
That's some high praise right there.
Has a lot of speed.
Buxton takes a curveball for a strike.
I think you're going to like the looks of this kid. He was a big part of that big trade again with got him from Arizona.
Well, they got him. They got Inciarte, and Inciarte has been fabulous since the break in the trade for Shelby Miller. And the third guy the Braves got in that trade, Aaron Blair, who was at a very rough season, is going to come off the disabled list and pitch against the Mets tomorrow night. They were certainly expecting more from Blair than an 8+ ERA, which is what he's posted so far this year. Well, certainly that trade already looks like a steal for the Braves, even without Blair pitching well. 0-2 to Buxton, and it's pulled foul. There are your City probables for the series upcoming. Noah Syndergaard gets the start tomorrow night against Blair, and then Robert Gsellman against the Braves ace Julio Teheran Tuesday night.
Blair has not been looking very good. Teheran is going to be a tough mark, much like Irvin Santana is for these Twin staff.
Buxton fouls away the fastball. Cardinals and Giants play later on in San Francisco. It's a matchup of rookie starters today in the final game of that 4-game series. Alex Reyes, the highly regarded prospect from New Jersey, will get the start against Albert Suarez for the Giants. Ground ball towards short. Nice diving stop. Reynolds gets the out at second. Beautifully done by Matt Reynolds on a hot shot off the bat of Buxton. And that is a hard first out.
Shades of Bud Harrelson here. What a nice play. Backhand dive. Gets the lead runner. Terrific play.
Well, with the speed of Buxton, no chance to turn 2, and Reynolds took all the time he needed to make sure that he made an accurate throw to second. So Buxton's aboard with 1 out, and now Beresford, who's 1 for 2 today.
Looks like we got that Josh Smoker down there in the bullpen. I can't tell who the right-hander is. But there is some activity down there in that Met bullpen.
Henderson was up in the last inning. Beresford single to left, took a call, third strike, 1 for 2 against Inoa today, and he shoots one foul. There's Henderson alongside Smoker with Ricky Bonas splitting the difference. You ever notice that Terry Collins and his coaches all have those multiple colored pens?
Yes.
Very useful. You and I should think about the multiple colored pen.
What do you think I got here?
Well, you have many pens, but they have the one pen that can write in four different colors.
I don't like those pens, do you? I am not fond of them.
I've never really tried them out, but they seem very efficient.
They're too fat. They don't feel good in my hand.
That's a good point.
In my fingers. They don't feel good.
You need to be comfortable with your equipment.
It's the Nellie Fox bat of the pens.
With the big handle, you mean? But Nelly used to choke up about 8 inches.
Put that big old wad of tobacco in his mouth on all his bubblegum cards.
See, you got your blue, you got your red, your green, your black.
It was less cumbersome.
Yank just fouled. Well, you and I both juggle our red and black pens.
Yeah, see?
Oh, Russ, our stage manager, has just supplied us with the 3 colored pens.
Right.
This one has blue and red and black. No green. I mean,
but
the pen is green, but there's no green.
Look at it. It's just it's like a Led Zeppelin. Put this on a Led Zeppelin album.
One, 2 from Goodell, and Beresford fouls that away. I just think it's great that they have the standard issue multiple colored pens on the coaching staff. They all have the teamwork to use the same pens, much as, by the way, you and I do. You and I use the same pens.
Oh, you turn me on to these pens. I love these pens.
And Goodell strikes out Beresford with a splitter. His second strikeout in relief, and there are 2 down in the inning. Here's a drive around the majors brought to you by Cadillac. The aforementioned rookie pitching matchup. Suarez's 11th start, Reyes' 3rd. Reyes has been great. Mets saw him in relief in the series in St. Louis. They gave him a couple of starts earlier just to get his feet wet, but now he's taking Jaime Garcia's spot in the rotation, more in the mode of we need our best on the mound. Even though they wanted to limit his innings, they're not going to limit him now. That every game is of utmost importance for the Cardinals, who are 2 games behind the Mets and the Giants. Do you think the Cardinals' schedule got a little easier coming down the stretch now that the Cubs have clinched the 3 games they have to play with Chicago?
That'll be very interesting. You know, you don't want to let the gas off the pedal too much if you clinch early. And don't forget, this is a Cub-Cardinal rivalry. It's going to be played in Wrigley. It's what they play in the last 3 games of the season, or the last week? The last week. And I don't think that you want your players to get lax or get out of their groove. And it is a rivalry, and nothing would please the Cubs more than to knock the Cardinals out.
Wild pitch by Goodell. Moves Buxton down to second.
It's the second one we've seen him.
Yes, it is. First one was on a splitter. This one is sailing fastball. There's the Cardinals schedule. They got the one more in San Francisco today. Then they go to Coors, and then next weekend to Wrigley before finishing at home against the Reds and the Pirates. Of course, there's another way of looking at it too. If you're the Cubs and you're sitting there in the division series waiting for the winner to come out of the wild card game, of these 3 teams, who would you rather face? I don't think you want to face Bumgarner or Cueto. I don't think you want to face Syndergaard. And I'm not saying the Cubs would lay down and lose on purpose to the Cardinals, but I would think the Cardinals would be the team they would most like to face in the division series.
I would say that, but you pick your poison.
Yeah. So it's all fascinating. Of course, the Giants still have 6 games left with the Dodgers, and the Dodgers still have a magic number of 10 for clinching that division. Struck him out. Goodell with the high fastball gets John Ryan Murphy. So Goodell with back-to-back strikeouts to finish off the 6th. That's 11 strikeouts for Met pitchers. As New York's best sports writers react to this weekend's Mets-Twins series, plus get a breakdown of today's Giants-Saints Week 2 matchup on Daily News Live, presented by Citi, tomorrow at 5, only on SNY. Home 6th inning, Michael Conforto leads off against Kyle Gibson, who has settled in nicely over the last couple of innings. Gibson's retired 8 of the last 9 batters after a rough beginning to his day. The roughness courtesy of Conforto, who had a 2-run single in the first inning that put the Mets in front, and they've been ahead ever since. Conforto getting just his 2nd start on the cleanup spot this year, and his first start in any game in nearly 2 weeks. Kelly Johnson on deck, then Travis d'Arnaud. If you're just joining us, Terry Collins rested most of his veteran regulars today. That's yanked through the hole, a base hit. A hot shot by Conforto through the shift for his 2nd hit of the day. So pleasing signs for Michael Conforto.
Fastball meant to be away, right down the pipe, a little outer half. He's got the good swing.
So the Mets have the 5th hit of the afternoon against Gibson, and now Kelly Johnson, who's walked and grounded out. Kelly fouls one off his leg.
Watch Conforto's front foot. And rolls over the side there.
Al Gibson had such a problem in the first inning that the Twins had warm-up action behind him. 4 batters into the game. Gave up 2 runs before he recorded an out, then got fortunate with a line drive double play, and things have gone better since. Good sinker to Johnson, and it's 0-2. Gave up the home run to T.J. Rivera in the 3rd, and a following double to Cespedes, but since then things have gone better for him. At Light, the right-hander. Buddy Bouchier is the left-hander. Up in the Twins bullpen with Gibson up to 84 pitches. Threw 108 his last time out Tuesday against the Tigers over 8 innings. And it's outside to Johnson, 1-2. Either way, it's going to be Gibson's last inning. Pitcher spot due to lead off for the Twins in the 7th. Something that American League managers don't usually have to worry about. One-two coming, and Kelly lines one into center field, a base hit. So back-to-back base hits for Conforto and Johnson to start the home 6th.
See how long Mr. Molitor has patience with this with Gibson in this inning.
I would think he gets one more batter here against d'Arnaud, then they'll bring the lefty in to face Duda.
I mean, the guys are looking in. They're not going to bunt here. I would seriously doubt there'd be a bunt on. They're going to play the corners in. I know it's stretch time and it's an important 2 runs out there, but bottom of the order, I can't see a bunt here.
I think it works to Travis's advantage to have those corners in, gives them some more holes to shoot at.
They are playing both corners in. I'm a bit surprised.
I'll tell you what I think that is, Keith. It's the difference between the American League and the National League game. In the American League, where you don't have the pitcher at the bottom of the batting order, you can afford to bunt in this spot. And I think also, over the years, and I don't know if it's true anymore, there's been more bunting in National League games, and American League teams, when they prepare for National League teams, just assume that National League teams are going to do a lot of bunting. So I think sometimes they misread the situations. 2-0 to d'Arnaud.
He's got himself in trouble here. 2 breaking balls, and he's behind the count.
Duda on deck. Duda hitting 7th in the order. Matt Reynolds is hitting 8th. Each team now with 6 hits on the afternoon. Gibson behind 2-0 on d'Arnaud. And Travis hits one through the hole, a base hit. Conforto to 3rd. He'll be held up there. 3 straight hits load up the bases. So d'Arnaud able to get it past the 3rd baseman Beresford, and the Mets have them loaded up. Duda coming up, and Molitor coming out. Oh, it's going to be Neil Allen. Oh.
Nice hitting by d'Arnaud. And then the 3rd baseman did move back, Beresford, but ball hit too hard in the hole.
Yeah, it is Molitor coming out. He'll bring in the lefty, Buddy Bouchiers, to face Duda. So Gibson gives up 3 straight hits to start the bottom of the 6th. Mets with a 3-1 lead and looking for more. We'll be right back. goes to his lefty, Buddy Boshears. Second appearance in the series for him. And Terry Collins responds by putting Asdrubal Cabrera up as a pinch hitter for Lucas Duda. So Cabrera getting the day off today, up in a spot where he can do some damage. Bases loaded, nobody out. Cabrera 2 for 7 in this series, including a home run Friday night. Conforto, Johnson, and d'Arnaud the base runners with nobody out. And Cabrera, first pitch swinging, fouls it off. Asdrubal is hit for a much higher average right-handed this year, .318 from the right side. Only 3 of his 20 home runs have come from the right side. Conforto, Johnson, and d'Arnaud with 3 consecutive hits to get the Mets a completely set table here in the bottom of the 6th. The infield back at double play depth. They'll concede a run to try and turn a double play with their middle infielder. And Cabrera pops one up, shallow center. Out goes Dozier. In comes Buxton to make the catch. And holding at third is Conforto. And a nice pickup at the plate by the catcher Murphy. Otherwise, that ball might have gone to the backstop. So that's the first out. So Cabrera, pinch hitting, can't get the run in, and now Matt Reynolds will try.
Shallow center, no chance.
Watch Murphy here.
Wow, where's the pitcher?
He was backing up.
Want to hit the cutoff, man. That could have been a disaster.
So now the infield will come in halfway with the bases loaded and 1 out. Reynolds has been up twice, struck out both times. Jose Reyes has come out on deck to pinch hit.
Because there could be a squeeze here, so you got to come in halfway.
Breaking ball in for a strike for Boshears. The Mets certainly have themselves a formidable bench today with so many regulars getting a day off. Cabrera used the pinch hitter, and now Reyes preparing to do likewise. Granderson, Bruce also on the bench, Loney. And Reynolds grounds one down to third. Oh! Nice backhand pick, Beresford, and the throw to first for the double play. Beautiful pick by the rookie Beresford, and he starts the 5-5-3 double play, and the Mets, who had the bases loaded and nobody out, do not score.
That is a big league play by Beresford right there. That was an in-between hop on the backhand. What a play.
Today marks the U.S. Air Force's 69th birthday. USAA honors those who have served in the U.S. Air Force and all of our service members around the world. Changes for the Mets. James Loney comes into play first after due to left for a pinch hitter, but this is surprising. Michael Conforto moves to left and Brandon Nimmo comes into play right. We've seen all day Cespedes has been a little compromised with his legs, so Cespedes has come out of the game. And Josh Smoker will pitch the 7th inning, and you hope that it's just precautionary for Cespedes and that he hasn't aggravated anything.
I'm sure that he's got a little bit of a grab there, and they're taking him out for safety reasons, as you said, Gare.
Smoker pitched last night, worked a scoreless 6th inning. Gary Collins has used Edgin and Goodell out of the bullpen. Goodell was a little erratic, but worked a scoreless inning in the 3rd, and now Smoker in the 7th. And the pinch hitter is Kurt Suzuki, the regular catcher, getting the day off today. Remember, he got whacked in the chin by a foul ball. Got 5 stitches, got re-whacked again. He's got the bandage off today, so I guess it's gotten a little bit better. But he has taken some real shots, and that's why he has only started 1 game in this series. See, he's got that little scar on his chin. Suzuki 0 for 3 in this series. Smoker quickly ahead of him 0-2. Brian Dozier on deck. And Suzuki strikes out on 3 pitches. Quick work by Smoker for the first out. That is 12 strikeouts for Met pitchers in 6 1/3. People's United Bank brings you today's starters. Gabriel Inoa, first big league start. He had 8 of those strikeouts over 4 2/3. Kyle Gibson survived today to go 5 innings plus, 3 runs, 7 hits. Now it's Dozier, who had a base hit in the 5th inning that ended Inoa's day. 1 for 3 on the afternoon. With that base hit, Dozier extended his hitting streak to 22 straight games, which ties him with Freddie Freeman for the current longest streak in the majors. Freeman and his 22-game hitting streak will be coming to Citi Field tomorrow night. Ball and a strike to Dozier.
Smoker pitching with a lot more confidence. And he is rewarding Terry. Terry's sending him out there in these big important ball games.
Well, you got to have confidence.
Where have I heard that before?
Let's check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
Gary, as you guys have noted, it's been an incredible season individually for Brian Dozier, but one of the remarkable things about it is just how poorly the season started for him. First 2 months of the season, hit .202 with just 5 home runs, and he said it took a call from Torrey Hunter, actually an ex-teammate, to turn things around for him. Hunter had been watching on TV, noticed that Dozier was pressing, trying to make up for how bad of a season the entire team was having, and he noticed that Dozier had gotten too close to the plate and was trying to yank balls out of the park, something he doesn't normally do. Dozier said from that moment things just started clicking in. He went back to being the player that he was before and has gone on an unbelievable tear since. 36 home runs, hitting well over 300.
He has had an unbelievable last few months. And he may well accomplish a dubious feat this year as he pops this one up in foul ground, and that'll go out of play. Dozier has 41 home runs. The Twins have lost 94 games, and they've got 12 games to go after today. So there's every chance the Twins might lose 100 games this year. There have been only 3 instances in Major League history where players hit 40 home runs for a team that lost 100 games. The last one to do was Jeff Burroughs for the '77 Braves, and the other 2 instances were a long time ago. Cy Williams for the 1923 Phillies and Hall of Famer Chuck Klein for the 1930 Phillies. This one's popped up, and this one's going to stay in play. Darno avoids tripping over his mask and makes the grab for the 2nd out. When I read that stat, Keith, I was stunned because I thought for sure Ralph Kiner must have done it, right? 40 home runs for a team that lost 100.
Yep.
But he never did. Ralph hit 40 or more home runs for the Pirates on 5 occasions when the Pirates lost 92, 71, 83, 96, and 90. The year the Pirates lost 112 games in 1952, Ralph hit only 37 home runs.
He should have gone into negotiations and said, I prevented you from losing 100 ball games.
Well, Very famously, when Ralph tried to negotiate, Branch Rickey said, "We could have finished last without you."
Right. We finished last with you. We would have finished last without you. I've got a.
Logan Schaefer is 1 for 3 on the day. Hit a bloop to left that Cespedes trying to make a sliding catch on, but trapped.
Guys, you mentioned that dubious record with Brian Dozier, and I asked him, I said, is it bittersweet to have such individual success in a lost season for the team? And he said, actually, there's nothing sweet about it. If you think that you're having a good year when the team has been this bad, then you're not a very good teammate. In fact, he thinks he should have been able to do more this season, whether it's on the field or helping young guys develop off the field.
Well, Dozier is tied to the Twins for at least 2 more years at a very reasonable price. I think he signed a 4-year, $20 million deal, and he's got 2 more years to go on that.
I'll take it.
For what he's accomplishing, though, that is sweet for the Twins to have him under wraps for 2 more years with what he's accomplished this season. Oh, 2 to Logan Schaefer. And he fights off another one. Josh Smoker moves further and further up in the pecking order with every good outing he's put together.
Well, he throws strikes. He's much out of the same mold as Josh Edgin. Over the top fastball, fairly straight. Throws harder than Edgin. And they both got the same kind of slider.
He's got a little splitter he uses for a changeup. And he strikes out Schaefer with the slider. Another effective inning for Josh Smoker. 1, 2, 3 with a couple of strikeouts. 13 strikeouts for Met pitchers in the first 7 innings, and a 3-1 lead at the 7th inning stretch. Ten years ago today, the Mets clinched the National League East crown, shutting out the Marlins at Citi Field. Good to see Chris Cotter and Julie Donaldson in the middle of the champagne celebration. Old times here at SNY.
And Yadier Molina shot down that year with that home run. Also Aaron Heilman. That was a heck of a ball club that year.
Mets wallop the Dodgers in the division series and suffered heartbreak in the league championship series that year. A team that looked destined to go to the World Series. It just didn't happen. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Mets with a 3-1 lead. Taylor Rogers will work for the 2nd straight day. Rogers came in to get a couple of strikeouts of Granderson and Bruce in the 8th inning last night. There's your Fidelis Care Mets box score. Conforto drove in 2 runs in the 1st inning. TJ Rivera hit a home run in the 3rd inning. Mets have had other threats, but that's been all the scoring. Twice the Mets have had the bases loaded and nobody out and failed to score. So it's still a close game as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Gavin Cecchini will be the pinch hitter, his 2nd big league at bat. Cecchini batting for the pitcher against the left-hander Rogers. Takes the first fastball low and in for ball 1. Cecchini, former first-round draft pick for the Mets, had a terrific offensive year at Las Vegas this year. Finished 3rd in the batting race behind his teammates TJ Rivera and Brandon Nimmo. A rough year in the field for Cecchini. It'll be interesting to see what is done with Cecchini after an error-filled season at shortstop at AAA. Will they try and move him to second base? He did play a few games at second at the end of the season for Vegas. In the air to left center, and over comes Grossman. 1 out. SNY Super Slow Motion brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. Still waiting to hear some kind of report on Cespedes and why he came out of the game, but remember when he doubled back in the 3rd inning, he was doing all that stretching out at second base, and then when he grounded into a double play in the 5th, he ran very slowly to first base, not putting any pressure at all on that quad. Here's De Aza up for the 4th time. He's walked and reached on an error. 0 for 2 on the day. And hits one on the ground right at Dozier. And quickly there are 2 out. So Rogers, who got 2 outs last night, easily sets down the first 2 in the 7th today. Fernando Salas getting ready to pitch the 8th inning. That's used Addison Reed and J. Reese Familia for an inning apiece in each of the first 2 games of this series. So it's interesting that Salas is up and not Reed, who normally gets the 8th when the Mets have the lead.
Give Reed a day off, it looks like, and Salas has been doing the job. The only blemish that Salas has was that game-ending home run he gave up to Wilson Ramos in the getaway day game that in Washington, the rubber game.
Rivera 2 for 3 today, a single and a home run. Well, the fact that Salas is up in the 8th inning means that they don't need him to close. So the question is, which guy is unavailable today, Reed or Familia? Because they could push Reed to the 9th if Familia's not available, or
I think Familia's coming in.
We'll see. Breaking ball by Rogers, and it's 0-2 to Rivera.
Familia had 24 pitches last night, Gary. He's pitched.
He hasn't had an easy inning in either one of these games in this series. He had 21 on Friday night. So we'll see. But clearly with Salas up, it means one of those guys is not pitching today. Breaking ball down to Rivera, 1-2.
Reed has had the cleaner innings.
Right.
I mean, he's just breezed through.
I mean,
Familia's had to work.
Right off the top of your head, just looking at their workloads, you'd have to think Familia's off and that Reed's going to pitch the 9th. But we'll see. It's information that Terry Collins has and we don't. Backdoor breaking ball gets Rivera looking to end the inning. So a 1-2-3 inning for Taylor Rogers. On to the 8th we go. Salas coming in. It's 3-1 Mets. USAA, insurance, banking, and investments tailored for the military community. While the Lexus NX Turbo and Hybrid go beyond utility. And by the State Farm agent of the game is Pat Cauley of Glendale. Contact Pat at patcauley.com. 8th inning, 3-1 New York. Fernando Salas will get the call rather than Addison Reed in the 8th.
He's a veteran. He's closed before with the Cardinals. He's bounced around. He's come over from the Angels. Didn't have a great year with the Angels. But as a seasoned veteran, he's been a guy in the back end of a bullpen. He's been in these tight situations before, and he's done a good job for the Mets thus far.
Jorge Polanco leads off. Polanco had a double against Salas last night. Pulled just past Reyes and down the left field line. Salas worked 2/3 of an inning last night, faced 3 batters, gave up 2 hard hit balls. Cabrera made a great catch at shortstop with a line drive Dozier hit against him. That's on the inside corner to Polanco, 1-1. Salas, the 5th Met pitcher of the afternoon. Gabriel Inoa went 4 2/3 in his first big league start. Pitched well, but he won't qualify for a win. Josh Edgin faced 1 batter. Eric Goodell went an inning and a third. Josh Smoker a 1-2-3 7th. And now Salas in the 8th. And he throws it by Polanco, 1-2. Kenneth Vargas on deck, and then Robbie Grossman for the Twins. That's bullpen is quiet behind Salas. Now the 1-2 to Polanco, and he fouls it back. Mets 1 run, the Twins 1 run 6 hits, the Mets 3 runs and 7 hits. Mets trying to sweep a 3-game series from the Twins, whom they've beaten 6 straight times going back to 2012. Just off the corner, 2-2. Last time the Mets played the Twins before this series was that snow interrupted series 3 years ago in Minnesota.
I remember it well.
Mets won the first 2, but had to go back in August to make up the 3rd game, and they beat Kyle Gibson in that game. Same pitcher started today. It was that ill-fated trip to Minnesota and Colorado. The Mets also had a postponement in Colorado, had to go back later in the year after they had that doubleheader where they had to shovel the snow off the field.
I remember that. They had employees shoveling the ball off.
Sandy Alderson was out there with a shovel. Yep. 7th pitch of the at-bat to Polanco, and it's whacked to left field, but right at Conforto, and that's the first out. Salas retires his first batter, and now Kenneth Vargas, who walked and scored the only Minnesota run in the 2nd inning against Inoa, and has struck out twice since then. Maybe the biggest out of the game for the Mets. When the Twins loaded the bases in the 5th inning, Eric Goodell struck out Vargas in an 8-pitch at bat, finally getting him with a splitter to get the Mets through that inning. Curveball in for a strike. Goodell may wind up with the win in this game if the Mets hang on, even though he threw a couple of wild pitches, walked a batter, gave up a hit. Goodell wound up getting that big out in the 5th and a couple of strikeouts in the 6th and went an inning and a third. Longer than any other Met reliever's gone today. None of it happens today without the performance of Gabriel Inoa, who I think outperformed expectations in his first big league start. And Vargas hits a rocket to deep right field. Back goes Nimmo and takes a look, but that is long gone. Kenneth Vargas off the wise side, his 8th home run of the year, and this is now a 1-run ball game. I told you that Vargas had enormous power, and you just saw it. As he bridges Fernando Salas, and it's now 3-2 New York.
Well, it was a day late and a nickel short. He would have loved to have that one back in the 5th inning when he came up with 2 outs and the bases loaded. But he struck out against Goodell. But this is a bomb right in the wheelhouse of a left-hand hitter. Off the wide side.
Oh. Snapped against that sign like a potato chip breaking in half. Robbie Grossman, who's 3 for 3 today. No doubt about that one. See the guy in the seats there, incoming.
So Salas has thrown a few cracks this week. Gave up the home run to Ramos in Washington. A couple of hard hit balls last night. Now the home run to Vargas. 0-2 now to Grossman. Grossman has singled to center and twice has singled to right. His first appearance in this series, and has taken advantage of it, going 3 for 3. And that's lined into center field, and Grossman's got his 4th hit of the day, and the Twins have the tying run on base. So a 4 for 4 afternoon for Robbie Grossman, and some rough times for Fernando Salas.
Wants it away. In right down the middle. Didn't get it away enough. 4 singles.
Now it's Byron Buxton as Jerry Blevins gets up in the bullpen. You got the left-hand hitter Beresford on deck, and only one right-handed bat left on the bench for Paul Molitor, the switching Eduardo Escobar. Buxton is 0 for 3 today, robbed of a hit by Matt Reynolds his last time up. A great diving stop in the hole. And Buxton takes a strike. This was Buxton who hit the 11th inning home run last night that briefly gave the Twins the lead. We've been saying it all series, and it hasn't really come to fruition, but the Twins are not a terrible offensive team. 7th in the American League in runs scored. Their problem's been on the other side. Salas quickly ahead on Buxton, 0-2. Another way for Robbie Grossman, his 2nd career 4-hit game. His first one came in 2014. It's Beresford, left-hand hitter on deck, with Blevins ready in the bullpen. Two to Buxton, and it's up and away.
Well, they haven't been easy against these Twins. It seems like the Mets are in control, but they've been tough games. Close.
And that one gets by d'Arnaud, and down to second base with the tying run goes Grossman. The 3rd wild pitch for the Mets this afternoon. 2 by Goodell, and now Salas.
Nothing that d'Arnaud can do here. Just got on top of that slider.
Well, the biggest issue in this game for the Mets is the number of opportunities they've squandered. They had 2 runs home, bases loaded, nobody out in the 1st, didn't score further. Then they had bases loaded, nobody out in the 6th, and didn't score. They should have more runs on the board. That's in the air to deep left field. Conforto back to the edge of the warning track to make the catch. Tagging at second is Grossman, and he gets to third base just a shade before Conforto arrives. A far too close play for Robbie Grossman, but he does make it. Good throw by Conforto. 2 out.
Terry's getting antsy. Here he comes. Boy, he just did get in.
Well, you better make that. You don't want to make the 3rd out at third base. And it was close, but he did arrive safely. Well, Terry's going to bring in Blevins with the left-hand hitter due up. So Salas will come out after 2/3 of an inning, and Blevins will make his way in. Tying run at third with 2 out as Blevins enters. We'll be right back.
looking to get one key out. He struck out Max Kepler in the 7th inning last night. He comes on here. Left-hand hitter due up, but Paul Molitor will go to his switch-hitting third baseman Eduardo Escobar, who started the first 2 games of the series. Escobar 0 for 9 in the first 2 games.
.226 against left-handers.
Tying run at third with 2 out. And Blevins starts him off with a curveball for a strike. Blevins, the 6th Met pitcher of the afternoon. Salas, a rough 8th inning here, gave up a home run and a base hit to Grossman, a wild pitch and a fly ball moved Grossman to third. 3-2 New York, 8th inning. And Escobar pops it up. Rivera retreats, makes the call and the catch. Side retired. Blevins gets the job done after the Twins get closer on the Vargas home run. 3-2 New York in the 8th. In 1-run games, Mets are 4th in the National League. Look at Arizona, how high they are, and the Phillies. Mets are 23-20 in 1-run games this year. The Twins, by the way, by contrast, are 13-26 in 1-run games. Brandon Nimmo up for the first time, took over for Cespedes. Cespedes, we are told, left the game because of nausea and dizziness, so it's not leg related for Cespedes. Nausea and dizziness,
which is good.
It's certainly a better diagnosis for the Mets. Eduardo Escobar, a pinch hit, stays in the game at third base for the Twins. Nimmo shoots one foul down the left side, and it's 0-2. Nimmo got an at bat in the 11th inning last night and had an opposite field single. Conforto and Johnson to follow for the Mets as they look for some insurance in the 8th. Nobody up as yet in the Mets bullpen. Been trying to figure out who's going to close today. That goes to the backstop from Rogers, 1-2. Salas and Blevins combined to get through the 8th. Perhaps Blevins, who had a save in Washington, will get a chance to close today. It was his first save in 4 years. Nimmo won't chase, and it's 2-2. Blevins looks like he's still good to go.
Well, Dozier is going to be the third batter in the inning. Only got a left-handed bench left.
Nimmo hits one past the mound, but right there is Polanco to sweep it up. Close play, and Nimmo's out by half a stride. Nimmo busting hard, but Polanco got him, one away.
Well, he can run good. Got jammed a little bit.
You can't run harder out of the box than that.
After all these years and everybody running faster, it's still that 60 feet or what is it, 60?
90 to first.
90. I'm thinking of the mound. It's a long day.
Maybe you're stuck in Little League on that.
You know what?
If we showed you the picture of you on the horse.
You know what it is? All those infield hits that I lost. I was dreaming.
Conforto is 2 for 3 today in his first start in nearly 2 weeks. And he takes a strike from Rogers, and it's 0-2. Conforto drove in the first 2 Met runs with a bases loaded single in the first inning. Hit that ball to left center against Kyle Gibson. Then he pulled one through the hole into right in the 6th. So a good day for Conforto. Our next SNY telecast will be Game 2 of the series with the Braves Tuesday night. Robert Gazelman against the Braves ace Julio Teheran. Tomorrow night's game is on Pix 11. That's Noah Syndergaard's start, as the Mets and Braves open a 3-game series. And Conforto takes the curveball, strike 3 called. Rogers has looked very impressive. 2 strikeouts last night, 5 up and 5 down tonight with a couple of strikeouts. Get a breakdown of today's Giants Saints game from NFL insider Ralph Vacchiano and all the reactions and in-depth analysis only on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. Coming up on Geico Sports Night at 10:30, all the baseball, the football, everything you need to know. Geico Sports Night 10:30 right here on SNY. Now Kelly Johnson 1 for 2 and a walk today, and he takes a strike. Well, for the Twins in the ninth, they'll have the number 8 hitter Murphy, the pitcher spot with, as Keith mentioned, all left-handed bench remaining, and then Brian Dozier. And there's nobody up in the Mets bullpen, so it looks like Jerry Blevins is going to start the ninth. There's a call, strike 0-2, and it may be that either Reed or Familia will be ready for Dozier.
I will be shocked Blevins will not face Dozier.
But as yet, neither of those gentlemen has begun to throw, so it's going to be Blevins to start the inning. Johnson hits a comebacker, and Rogers completes 2 perfect innings in relief to keep the Twins in the game. And now the Mets will try and protect a 1-run lead in the ninth, up 3-2.
moves to left, and for the first time since July 28th, after thumb surgery, Juan Lagares is in center field. He was brought back specifically for these late inning defensive situations, and there is the former Gold Glover. So you got Duda and Lagares back in the lineup today. John Ryan Murphy will lead off the ninth against Jerry Blevins, who got a save in D.C., the third of his career, the first he's gotten as a Met, and there's nobody up behind him in the Mets bullpen. Joe Mauer is out on deck to pinch hit, and then Brian Dozier. And Murphy's swing on the curveball and pulls one foul, 0-1. So a day that Terry Collins, as Rene Rivera's come in behind the plate as well. Terry Collins is trying to steal a game without playing most of his best players, including his top two bullpen guys.
3 outs away.
Blevins got the final out in the 8th with the tying run at third. And now Murphy punches one foul, and it's 0-2. Murphy's driven in drove in the first Twins run today with a sacrifice fly. Since then he's gone 0 for 2. Coming to Murphy. Struck him out. Jerry Blevins with the high fastball has the first out in the ninth.
Well, he's been effective against right-handers this year also. Just an upstairs fastball. Swings under it.
Now Joe Mauer will be the pinch hitter. Mauer 0 for 6 in the game last night, was getting the day off today. But pinch hits here in the pitcher spot. Mauer 1 for 8 in his career against Blevins. And he takes a fastball for a strike. Well, the Mets are going to get the bullpen cranking now. With the right-hand batter Brian Dozier on deck, they'll keep Jim Henderson ready. But it may be that if Blevins gets Mauer out, he'll be left in to face Dozier. We'll see. And it's hit up the middle. Rivera to his right. The backhand, the off-balance throw. Got him! T.J. Rivera gets Mauer for the second out.
Nice play. Slow-moving Mauer gives him a little more time to set. Rivera, perfect throw. Very clutch play. Very nice.
A nice upstretch by Loney, staying on the bag. And now the Twins are down to their final out. Dan Warthen's going to go to the mound, but it's going to be Blevins to face Brian Dozier and his 41 home runs. Now, you look at Blevins' numbers against right-handers, and this is the move. Right-handers are hitting under 200 against Jerry, who's known as a left-handed specialist, but has certainly gotten the job done against the righties. But this is a dangerous spot for him.
Well, Dozier against left-handers this year, 306 and 100 batting average, 124 at bats, 11 home runs. That would be around over 50 for the year.
He's got 41 as it is. Mets stack the infield on the left side. 2 out and nobody on. 1-run lead in the ninth. And Dozier takes a fastball for a strike.
Interesting that he'd be taking. He's got to be looking for something to try to jerk here, tie this ball game up. They say he's been going to the opposite field with his power.
Rivera sets up outside. And Dozier takes one on the corner. He didn't like that call by Ramon DeJesus, but now the Twins are down to their final strike.
Keep the ball away. It's a bigger part of the ballpark. It's the right center to right field. That's the biggest part of this ballpark.
0-2 to Dozier. He struck him out, and the ball game is over. Jerry Blevins with the 4-out save as the Mets complete the sweep of the Twins and move ahead of the Giants in the wild card race in the National League. On a day that Terry Collins rested many of his regulars, kept his top 2 relievers out of the game. Michael Conforto drove in a pair. A home run from T.J. Rivera Gabriel Inoa successful in his first big league start, and the Mets steal one to sweep the series from the Twins.
Well, it is someone different every day, and that's what's been fun about watching this ball club. Blevins now with his second save in the month of September. A 3-2 ball game. Rivera again a hitting star. He hit the home run, which is the difference in the ball game. Drove in the third run. So all good all the way around. The Mets are doing what they have to do, beating up on these second division clubs.
20 wins in their last 27 games. Mets are now 11 games over 500. The game summary presented by Tito's Handmade Vodka. Eric Goodell will get credit for the win after Gabriel Inoa went 4 2/3 and struck out 8 in his first big league start. Blevins hadn't had a save in 4 years. Now he has 2 in less than a week, as the Mets win at 3-2. For every Mets win, the Mets organization is proud to contribute $2,500 to Northwell Health and the Katz Institute for Women's Health. For more information, visit northwellhealth.com/KIWH. This win brings the total contribution so far this season to $200,000. SNY's Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by StubHub. Looking for great seats? Head to StubHub, the official ticket marketplace of the New York Mets. By GMC, we are professional grade. By Geico, over 75 years of savings and service. By New York Lottery, take a break from the expected, play scratch-off games from the New York Lottery. And by Cholula, uncap real flavor of your favorite foods with the delicious taste of Cholula hot sauce. Try all 5 unique flavors, including green pepper. Final score this afternoon, the Mets 3, the Twins 2. Tomorrow night, the Mets open their series with the Braves on Pix 11. Noah Syndergaard gets the start. Coverage begins on Pix 11 tomorrow at 6:30. We're back on SNY Tuesday night for the second game of that series. Robert Gazelman against Julio Teheran. Coverage Tuesday night on SNY at 6 o'clock. Now for Keith Hernandez, Steve Gelbs, and our entire SNY crew, I'm Gary Cohen at Citi Field. Time for WB Mason post-game live. Let's join Doug Williams and Jim Duquette in the studio. Guys.